Hello and welcome back. Today I'll be making one of the Philippines' best known dishes. No, not adobo, I'll make that another time. I mean this. A thick, hearty, and amazingly delicious peanut-based stew named Kare-Kare. There are more than a few stories on where and how this dish originated, my personal favorite being that it was brought over in the mid-18th century by settlers from southern India during a brief British occupation of the Philippines. When the British left, these settlers created Kare-Kare as a little reminder of the food back home. On the surface, the similarities with curry are obvious. However, unlike its Indian cousin, Kare-Kare is usually only mildly spiced. It's also traditionally made with offcuts of meat, like trotters, tails, basically anything with a ton of fat and connective tissue that can melt into the sauce. Tripe is another common ingredient, but I won't be including it in today's dish because I think tripe eats like a rubber bath mat. So instead I'll be using this. Chicken, which is ideal for making Kare-Kare on a weeknight. No hours spent rendering down a tough piece of meat, and it's a nice intro protein for someone trying to dish for the first time. Now, to get the most out of this lowly bird, the chicken has to be skin on and bone in. And don't even think about using chicken breast. Just don't. To help the chicken out, and this is not traditional at all, I like to add coconut milk. It may look like freezer burnt ice cream in dishwater right now, but trust me, it's a secret ingredient your Kare-Kare needs to get into the stratosphere. Next there's onion, sliced, and onion's best friend, garlic, thinly sliced. Then there's peanut butter. It may seem like a cheat not to make our own peanut paste, but this is an express midweek recipe, and it's also the 21st century, so I'm using peanut butter. This is smooth, but you can use chunky if you like for extra texture. I sometimes do. Then there's chicken stock, 2 cups, and fish sauce, a couple of tablespoons. For veg, green beans are traditional, as is something green, bok choy in this case. For a heartier Kare-Kare such as beef, I'd go with a sturdier green like kale that can stand up to a richer, heavier sauce. But for chicken, these will do just fine. I'm also going to cook them a little unconventionally. You'll see in a minute. Alright, on to the actual cooking. First I added a splash of veg oil to a pot on medium-high heat. Then I seasoned the chicken and laid them in. Because I used quarters, I did this in 2 batches so I didn't overcrowd the pot. Also, and this is important, I left the chicken undisturbed in the oil for several minutes before touching them. Look at how beautifully browned, and more importantly, intact that skin is. Here's the second batch, ready to be pulled out. You can discard most of that oil, as well as any burned bits. Alright, add a little fresh oil to the pot, then throw in the onions. Give them a minute to soften, then add the garlic. Let these fry for a minute or two until nice and fragrant. But don't let the garlic brown or it'll get bitter. Once your pot looks something like this, add the chicken stock. Then add the fish sauce. Funny story about fish sauce. The first time I made Kare-Kare after getting married, I added a fish sauce with the onions and garlic. I didn't have the vent on, and as soon as the fish sauce hit the pot, it sent a cloud of pungent vapor wafting through our entire apartment. It's a miracle my wife didn't file for divorce right then and there. Once the liquid's simmering, turn the heat down a bit and put the chicken back in. You don't have to worry about overcrowding anymore, so just cram them in however you can, so that the pieces are mostly submerged. I don't touch chicken again once they go into the pot a second time, so I put them pretty side up. When the chicken's all nice and snug, you can slap on the lid and move on to the bok choy. Those I washed, split in half, and laid cut side down in a hot pan. The goal is to get a little char in them, so use nice big pans so they've got plenty of space. Stainless steel would be perfect for this, but my biggest pan happened to be this non-stick purple bok choy eater, so that's what I used. It wasn't ideal, but it did the trick. When all the bok choy is in, leave them alone for about 5 minutes. You should end up with something looking like this. Hit the box with a little seasoning, then cover them with foil until ready to serve. And now we're back to the chicken. After about 30 minutes, stir in the coconut milk. Then do the same with the peanut butter. Once everything's melted in, add the green beans. I unfortunately missed getting a shot of that, so you'll just have to take my word that that's what happened next. Anyway, once everything's in a pot, simmer a final 5 minutes. And here you have it, weeknight chicken kare-kare, featuring succulent chicken, crispy green beans, lightly charred baby bok choy, and an irresistible, almost decadent peanut sauce with hints of coconut that you're just going to want to pour into some freshly steamed rice. But don't just take my word for it. How's it?
Good.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this recipe in the comments, and I'll see you next week.